Page 42, a theme from the Polovtsian Dances, or Polovtsian, however you want to pronounce it. I've seen different spellings of it. It's beautiful music though. I highly recommend you go and search out, Google it, or search for it on YouTube, wherever, and listen to it. It's gorgeous. It's written for orchestra. This is a nice piano solo arrangement. So okay, let's look at it. It's in 4/4 time, no sharps or flats. May have an accidental here and there, but basically it's in the key of A minor. More or less. It may not stay there, but that's where it's starting. The first line I'm going to take both hands together because they don't play together. It's one and then the other, and they're all eighth notes. So you're in A position, A minor, and you just 1 and 2. Because 4/4, did I say 4/4 time? Yeah. 1 and 2 and 3 and you just broken chords. That's all that is. And then the second measure, you're jumping down. And what you're doing here is, as the right hand is playing it, the left hand needs to move and be ready to go. And then as the left hand plays, the right hand can move. Same thing again. So be ready for the movements. Problem is going to the next line because you're ending up here and now they want you here. And the last measure, the first line, you're here. As the right hand is playing those notes, get the left hand up and just hover over the keyboard, ready for the second line. You're here. You want to be here. So just get the left hand up here. And then when you go to do the next line in the right hand, use the fourth finger on the first A here, and then thumb. And that makes the move not quite so painful. So to do the last measure of the first line going on, it's here. Now let's take it one hand at a time, starting with second line. Count it out very carefully because that's a tide to the beat one of the next measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. A lot of tied notes here. Make sure you hang them all onto them, hang on, whatever. Hold them down. Yeah. Going on, last measure of the second line, crossover. They're saying second finger. You can do them both with thumb if you want. It's up to you. Second or third, whatever. And then F sharps. And then crunch up for the next line, an A. And you get that again. Last measure on page 42. See, they got two different fingerings going. I wonder if it's an error or whatever. I don't care. Look at the last measure of the second line. Fingering is here. And the next measure is a 2-1. But if you look at the last measure of that page, it's here. And going on, it's a 1-1-4. I recommended 1-1-4 for the third line on page 42. So I think the second finger there may be an error. They may have meant a 1. I'm not sure, but I think so. I would play both of those E's with a 1. Finger the first measure of the third line on page 42. Finger it the same as the first measure on page 43. On the right hand, yeah. And then going on page 43, you're here. Like so. Second line on page 43, up here, C minor chord. Since the left hand's got the melody here, that's fine. And then later is a G major chord. And then the last measure of that line, the left hand's going to play the half note, and you just go up and do the C minor chord again. That's fine. Third line, second measure, G. And then in the third measure, the right hand gets the melody again. And if you're going to stay here and play that with third finger, and the next line, or the next measure, you do a 2 on the first A and a 1 on the second A. Here. And it's the same thing as what you had before. And then the last line is similar to the first line on page 42. I don't see a problem there, I hope. Similar, not quite, but similar. Left hand, starting with the second line, is just chords. Block chords. Keep them soft, because the melody's in the other hand. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Till we get over to the page of 43. Third measure over, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Don't forget the and on 4. And then come down, last measure, 1 and 2 and 3. Come in on the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3. And now the left hand gets the melody. Their fingering is okay. Cross over for the E flat, leave the thumb where it is. Last measure, it's a 2 and then a 5, because that left hand plays that G in the upper staff. That's what that line means. That line means the melody's going up. But that's melody, and then cross over. And then the third line, second measure, is play with the fourth and substitute the thumb. That's the 4-1. Here, so you can reach an octave down. And then the chords, you have a G sharp. They're saying 3, 5, 2, 1 for the B, D, F. I prefer a 4 on the B. It's up to you how you finger it, but I prefer a 4. And then the next measure is an A, C, E. We've had these before. And then the last line is similar. Let's put the hands together and see what happens. This should be interesting. We already did the first line. You just got to make them connected, smooth and even. 1 and 2 and 3. No hesitations. They have to keep going. So in the second line, it's here. 3, 4, 1, and 2. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 3, 4, 1, 2. Keeps going up, top of page 43. First line is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. The left hand gets the melody, so the left hand we want to hear, the right hand keeps soft. It's a little tricky. You're going to have to practice these switching, like the third line down, second and third and fourth measure in there. Here, you're here. So you have to work out where the melody is and bring that out, regardless of where it's at. It takes a little practice to do that. Now, in the third line down, third measure, that roll, just quickly, I play the G sharp with the right hand. Some people would play it like so, but I don't. You decide how you're going to do it. And the rest of it you pretty much had. At the end, the last measure here, roll all 5 notes. You can roll them slowly at the end of the piece. You slowed down a lot. There's a multi writ there. Like so, and hold them all down. I play the first note on the beat. That's when the 4, because it's the whole note, you count to 4. That's when the count starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, off, whatever. It's an interpretive thing. Dynamic wise, this is a gentle piece. It starts out very soft. And then when you, second line, it's soft, that's the melody. Keep the left hand really soft. Doesn't give you a speed, but you can hear recordings of this. If you've heard the song Strangers in Paradise, this is where it came from. This is where the melody comes. Then at the end of the 3rd line there's a crescendo. You go up just a little bit to sort of soft here. So this is just the last line on page 42 is just a little louder than the other. Keep the left hand soft. And that stays that way until the last measure. Look on page 43. First line, last measure. When the left hand gets, this is sort of loud. Not loud, just sort of. The right hand is soft. They don't need a P there for soft. You're going to do soft anyway. Now you're loud. And you can play those chords a little louder because you're loud in the left. Just don't overpower this. That's what we want to hear. Come down. There's a molto ritardando there. Molto means a bunch, so retard. And then the next measure you get an all tempo, which means resume the speed you were doing before you slowed down, whatever it was. Medium loud, right hand. Stay there until the next line, the last 2 measures, you gradually go back down to a soft. Take your time with it. Don't get soft until the last line. So the 4th line is here. Now you're... I tend to slow down a little. Don't. Just get soft. Slow down a lot. And I slow that roll down a lot. See, all rolled chords are not the same. It depends on the situation. So you work all that out, get the dynamics and the fingering and all that kind of worked out, and then we add the pedal. Don't add the pedal until last, because the pedal can really mess this up. So watch it. So at the beginning, the first line is legato pedal. Again, we'll play the notes and the pedal will lag behind the notes. This overlapping pedal ensures there's always sound, and that's what we want here. Very soft. They're saying lift up here. And that's fine. If you want a little break in the sounds, you can. Do you lift up at the end of the first line? Before you go on, but put the pedal down right after you play the notes in the second line. We want to connect those. And they're saying pedal harmonically. That means you change the pedal with the chords in the left hand. It's a little dangerous. Let's talk about it. So at the second line, you're here. Then change the pedal. Change the pedal. Now if that sounds fine to you, go with it. That's just a simple legato pedal throughout. I'm just changing the pedal every time I change the chords in the left hand. I think it sounds terrible because it's all these eighth notes get blurred up. Yeah. Like in the second line, second measure here. It's like, how can that be sweet when that sounds like that? A few drinks, it might sound sweet, but I would change it, and something like that, I'm following more the right hand rather than the harmony, and I might change it every beat or every 2 beats, depending on the situation. When it starts getting too blurry for me, I'm going to change the pedal. So in the second line, and the first measure is fine. Right there. On the third beat, I'm going to change it. So it's every 2 beats in the second measure. And then this next measure, I'm going to change it on the second. After the eighth notes, I don't want to hear all of that through the whole measure. Ugh. Third measure is fine. You can change it on the. You can change it on the third beat if you want. Third line down. Second measure, I'm changing it on the third beat. And again, next third measure, I'm changing it on the second beat. Here. And on the next measure, there are different ways of approaching pedaling, and you're going to have to experiment and decide how you like it. We want to connect the chords. You need the pedal for that. You can't connect chords on a piano very well unless you use the pedal. We want to keep that. But at the same time, we don't want to blur up all this beautiful stuff just to connect the chords. So there's certain times when I'm pedaling according to the eighth notes, but I would love to just, like in the second line, second measure, not even pedaling that, because this stays clean. I don't get the overtones, but it stays. The problem is I can't connect the chords, so I'm stuck. You know, it's a little bit of a mixture of both. So I'm using the pedal, but I'm lifting it up after the eighth notes or shortly after to clear out the sound. But I'm leaving the pedal down because I want to connect the chords. And it's an overlapping pedal here. It's like the second line, third measure. It's here. I'm changing it after the second beat to get rid of this. But I want to connect this. So it's a kind of a toss between the two, and you're going to have to experiment with the pedal and decide what you like. My suggestion is don't pedal anything you don't have to, but we need to connect these chords. Now you get over to page 43, like on the first line, you're pedaling here. Now we're not pedaling until we have chords in the right hand. Connect them. So we use the pedal. The only reason we're using pedal is to connect the chords. Experiment with it. You get these mechanics out of the way, you experiment with the pedal to get the sound that you want without blurring it up too much, and eventually you get to where you can feel the music, and that'll tell you the dynamics and the tempo and many play. You won't always play it the same way, I hope. So yeah. Let's play it together very slowly just to check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not doing dynamics. I will try and do the pedaling as I think it should be done or could be done, but you'll have to decide on your own pedaling on this. So put your hands where they go and the foot's on the pedal. It'll give us 4 counts. 1 and 2 and ready and go and... off.